inviting me back. Wait. I don't know what topic to speak on, but the fear that I got called this week. So my Parshas Vayeti is a full parsha of beautiful stuff, and one word I want to share with you, but I want to start off with Gishmak Ragishava on this week's parsha. You can't speak on this week's parsha without mentioning it. It's really a beautiful verse. At the end of the parsha, we know that Yaakov was nifter, and they brought him up to get buried. Vayikru, I say, they went up to bury Yaakov. And different things they've done, this faith, Godel, so on and so forth. Vayasu Banavim, Kasha Tuvam, they buried him. Vayusoisam, Banav Artiknan, Vayukroisim, the Me'oras Stei Machpelah, they buried him in the Me'oras HaMachpelah. Kashikana Avram, as the son of Then the next pasuk is an interesting pasuk. Vayoshav Yosef Mitzrayim, Yosef went back to Mitzrayim, who the Echad, him and his brothers, V'chol Ha'olam Itai, and all those who came up with him, Likbar es Aviv, to bury their father, Afrei Kavroi es Aviv, after they buried their father. What does it mean? Likbar es Aviv, Afrei Kavroi es Aviv, after they buried their father. They just buried him. What's this? What's this whole thing? So the Rosh Hashanah has a very good shema about it. He says, you have somebody, the Chashur, he's walking Rosh Hashiva, Rabbi Posen, who's the Rosh Hashiva? Rabbi Weinfeld is walking down the street, and he's walking with Rabbi Posen. So Rabbi Posen is also very cautious, but I think somebody else. But so Rabbi Weinfeld walks. So you have two people that are walking on the street. So the most cautious person always walks on the right side, and the person who's second cautious works on the left side. So you have the big Rosh Hashiva walking on the right, and then the left side. Now somebody comes along, a guy like me comes along, and I want to walk along with them. So where do I stand? So the most important person should go in the center. The next important person should go to his right, and the third, the least chashuv person, myself, goes to the left of the chashuv person. So you see what happened was so you have Rabbi Weinfeld's walking and Rabbi Posen walking, and then I come along. So what happens is Rabbi Posen was on the right side of Rabbi Weinfeld, but now was on the left because Rabbi Weinfeld was on the right because he was the most chashuv. Now when I come along, Rabbi Posen has to go over to his right, and I stand on the left. So now we're open. Got that? Most chashuv, next one. So he said as follows. He says, think about the Me'oras HaMachpelah. Who was in the Me'oras HaMachpelah? Avram was there. Then came Yitzchak. So Yitzchak went to his left, so Avram can be on the right. Now came Yaakov. So where do you go from Yaakov? So what did they have to do? They had to take out Yitzchak and move him over to the right of Avram, and then bury it, and then bury Yaakov. So that's what he says very in the pasuk. After they cover es Aviv, after they reburied Yaakov's father Yitzchak, they put him over to the right and they put him on to the left. Beautiful pash, right? I had once I heard that and I saw the pasuk when Avram was nifter. So it says over there that they buried him. Adam Chava also there. What are you mentioning here? What's Sarah over here? We're talking about, this is where we buried Avram. We're talking about burying Avram. This is where we buried Avram. What's the Sarah? I thought perhaps it doesn't fit exactly the same. Two Daniels as follows. Who was in the Me'oras HaMachpelah first? Adam and Chava. Right? Now came Sarah. Sarah was next to go into the Me'oras HaMachpelah. So where are you going to put Sarah? You don't put a lady next to a man if they're not married. So Sarah, of course, went next to Chava. Now came Avram. So where are you going to put Avram? You put Avram on the other side next to Sarah. So you're going to have the two ladies in the middle, and you're going to have the two men on the side. It doesn't work. You have to have the Chashuv people have to be in the center. So they put Avram next to Adam. And they took Sarah and they reburied her next to Avraham. So Shrama Kuba Avraham with Sarah, they reburied Sarah, so she should go next to her. Okay. That's the Ragishav. You can't go by Yeshiva without saying that over. The beginning of the parsha talks about. Do we still have time? You stop me when I'm doing it. The beginning of the parsha talks about Vayya Yisrael. Yaakov got sick, and Yosef brought his two children, Menashe and Ephraim, to get a bracha from Yaakov. So what does Yaakov say? He looks at them. Mem ches ches. What do you say? Vayya Yisrael from Yosef, Vayomer mi eleh. Who are these children? Question is, what do you mean mi eleh? Yosef says, Bonai hey Mashor, these are my children. What does mi eleh mean? Who are these people? Yaakov was living in Mitzrayim for 17 years. You don't think he knew his grandchildren? He's asked mi eleh. Abada, he knew who they were. In fact, Rashi says previously, Rashi brings down that Ephraim learned with them every single day. They were learning together. So for sure he knew who Ephraim was. Menashe and Ephraim also knew. What was the Yosef? They say Taka didn't show up there because Yosef didn't want it. As far as asking what happened, where were you for all those years? How did you get down there? He didn't want to do this, so he stayed away. But Ephraim and Menashe, they were there. So what's the Mi'ela? Who are these? Now the truth is, I wasn't the first one to ask that question, because Rashi asked that question. So Rashi says, from where did these come from? Because I see that they're not right for bracha. Rashi brings that he saw Biruch HaKodesh that there was going to be people that were going to be born from them, and he didn't understand that they weren't tzaddikim. Some had some tzaddikim. Later said Yeshua was born from them, but he saw what was going on. The kasha, I think, still remains. What do you mean mi eleh? He had Biruch HaKodesh. He knew everything. He knew what was going on in the future. He knew what was going to go on in the past. He knew everything. What was the question of mi eleh? That he possibly didn't know who they were. But I wanted to say, Mahal, perhaps, that the question that he asked wasn't the question to ask the question, because of course, Yaakov actually said he knew when the Mashiach came, he knew everything. He had to be able to see everything. This is more a question to ask, to make conversation. The two boys came in front of him. He wanted to start a conversation. Why do you want to start a conversation? When you want to give over a bracha, when you want to be mashpia someone and get something into them, you have to have a connection. And in order to have that connection, you have to start something. You got to start with a question. Mi eleh. Who are these? What are these? Let's start talking. Once we have that connection, when Yitzchak gave the brachas to Yaakov, he said, Mi ata b'ni. He said, B'ni, my son. He knew he was his son. Mi ata. He was starting a conversation. He wanted to get involved, even with Esav. What did he tell Esav? When Yaakov went to get to Shech the Izim for his father, his mother told him, go to the backyard and get it. When Yitzchak told Esav to get it, he said, go out to the field and go to the side, go find me something. Go to the backyard. What are you going out there? He wanted him to work and to get involved in this and to bring back something that his father can make a bracha on. So now there's a connection over here. When I'm giving a bracha, when the tzaddikim, the Abbas are giving brachas over to their children, it's not that it just goes by itself. You have to make a connection. Like Chas v'Shalom, you go into the hospital and you see they have these big IV things next to all the sick people with the wire going down to them. You can have the best medicine, the strongest medicine in the IV machine over there. If it's not connected to the person, it's not going in. There has to be a connection. Even later on in the parsha, where Yaakov gives the brachas to his children, before he gave the brachas, what did he say to them? He kaptu v'shimu b'nei Yaakov. The Medrash Rabbah says, what was he trying to do? He was trying to get them ba'achdus. We have to come together as one group, as one unit. We have to do a pu'ula that will make us all into one, and now we're going to get back on the same wavelength, and now I can start giving you brachas so they can go into you. Rabbi Kamenetsky says, he says that the aside over here is that he told the brothers, he said, each one of us has our unique milas and strengths that we all have. And we're all different, and everyone got a different bracha and a different thing that they're able to do. But one thing we have to know is that we have to be yikapsu. We have to be hey apsu agidlochem. I need you all to get together. That doesn't make a difference if we're all different. But even with our differences, together we can be that much stronger, and we can be the strong group that we have to be. So you see from over here, the aside in order to get brachas, you have to be connected. You need that kesher. You need some IV line that's infused into you so that it can come to you. I heard from Rabbi Dishon once. He says when a person is mashpia another person, we have great Rosh Yeshivas over here and Rabbanim that are trying to give over the stuff. They're mashpia from themselves into another person. Mashpia comes from the word mashupa, which means on a slant. They are on top and they're giving it over and it's sliding right down. But it has to be that connection. It can only go if there's a connection. You need that kli kibul, something that you're able to be there together with them and make that work. And that's the way it works. And how do we make that kesher? We make that kesher with HaKadosh Baruch Hu through our Torah and our tefillah. If we do the right things, then we can connect and we can get the bracha straight from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And if I can delve on this just for a moment, tuning in to that same frequency. Before we start Shemon Esrei, we say Hashem Svasai Tifta Kufi Agitu L'Secha. We start a conversation with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We don't right away start Baruch Atah Hashem. We want to talk to you, Hashem. Please help us. Open our mouths. We ask throughout davening. Micha Meicha Bal Gevurus Midon Melach in Shemon Esrei. Nekelkeinu Mikelkeinu Micha Meicha in Oz Yashir. There's all these questions that are asked. What are you asking? In the middle of the you should say in Shemon Esrei, Micha Meicha Avraham. It should say Ein Kameicha Avraham. There's no one like you, Avraham. What the Micha Meicha? Who's like you? What are we asking questions over here? There is nobody. It's not somebody. We're creating connections over here. We're trying to get on the same frequency to be able to have the brachas and the answers that we're about. And I think that's the biggest side in davening. It's the biggest side in a person's life. If you're on the same frequency, you can possibly get some kind of brachas. You can probably get some answers of what you need. But if you're not in the same frequency, you ever try talking to somebody and they're sitting there on their phone and they're punching and typing texts and things like that? Are we connecting over here? We're not connecting. That's not a connection. The connection is we have this conversation. We start talking. Shalom Aleichem. How are you? Okay, let's make this work. Now we're connecting with each other. These are simple things. I remember years ago, somebody once in a drasha, he said over this guy in shul, and Milshman and he sees somebody in the next row. He pulls out of his pocket some cigarettes and he puts it in his mouth and he lights it up, takes a puff, and then he puts it out and throws it on the floor. He went up to him and he says, "What are you doing?" Well, what's going on with you? He says, "You have to understand. Right after davening, I have to go catch a plane. I'm going out of town. So as I'm davening Shemon Esrei, my mind is drifting, and I'm on the way to the airport, and I pull up into the airport, and I go there to get my ticket, and I come to the lady in charge of the thing, and she says to me, "Do you want to sit in the smoking section or the non-smoking section?" But I'm in the middle of Shemon Esrei, I can't talk, so I pulled out a cigarette, I lit it up so that you can see, so I put it down. There's no connection over here, everybody says. It doesn't work that way. If you want to talk, if you want to ask the Kadosh Baruch Hu with everything that Hashem asks for, we want health, we want wealth, we want the Chayim Landas, we want to understand what's going on. You got to be talking in the connecting. We need that connection. We need that IV connection that it really works for us. You know, I had a girl working in my office. She had her days, what she was doing, and so on. And she came back, Baruch Hashem, and we were helping her, and she was working well, and things were going. But she came to my office one day. She said, "I have to speak to you." I said to her, "Yeah, what can I help you?" And she says, "You know, in the last 2 weeks, I had 3 car accidents. Yesterday, I got notified that they're cutting off my insurance, and I got a shut-off notice and all kind of things. Why is this all happening to me?" Now, I'm glad that people think very highly of me, but I really don't know all these answers. And I'm sitting there dumbfounded, and I don't know what to answer. Baruch Hashem put something words into my mouth, and you know, the Piyasam was created, one of those things, the words of the Asim, the donkey, during the first 6 days, Bein Hashmashis, on the 6th day. So Baruch Hashem, some words came into my mouth. I said, "I don't know what to tell you, but I can tell you one thing. Hashem does not like immorality. The filth, the garbage, He doesn't like it." And she's staring at me, and she says, "Thank you." She gets up and she leaves. An hour later, I get a text. She says, "You have Ruach HaKodesh." And she writes me a whole thing that Shitaka was looking at the wrong things, and she doesn't know how I know it, but she's going to stop. When she called me back a week later, and she came to my office, she says, I haven't done it in a week, and I haven't had one accident, and my stuff got back and got better. It's not a chiddush. When you're not on the same wavelength, you want to talk to Hashem, you want stuff from Hashem, it's not going to work. But if you're doing the right stuff, if you're following the right directions of what Hashem wants, that's definitely a good thing. My brother is a good guy. He's a really good guy, and he does a lot of stuff. I guess I shouldn't say where he lives, just you shouldn't get back to him. But he has a store, and he called me up about a year ago, and he said he's having trouble. It's not. He went through the numbers, and it's not working. And I tried giving him access, this and that, the other thing, and it wasn't. He was going to close down. And then I spoke to him a few weeks later. I said, "No, what's going on?" He says, "I'm good." I said, "Okay, Baruch Hashem." What's it? He says, "I want to tell you. I decided he does a lot of stuff in his town. One of the things he does is tag. He takes care of all the phones and makes sure that it's all kosher and everything. He said, I do it for everybody else. My own phone didn't have a filter on it. So I put a filter on my phone. My business has been busier than ever it was before. Baruch Hashem, this is the way it works. You need to be able to have a kli kibul. You need to have that line, that straight line, that IV line has to be able to go in there. You have to be able to connect. And if you're not on the same level, it's not connected. Hashem has a lot to give. He wants to give it out to us. Shefa. He has a lot. But we have to be on that level in order to be able to accept it. I know myself. I found if I go onto Instagram, it's bad for me. It just doesn't work. You have to figure out sometimes, what is it that Hashem wants or doesn't want? I figured out Instagram, Hashem doesn't like it for me. So each person has their own thing. Each person, I remember there was a carpenter over here, his name was Sherman. He told me when he's in a fight with his wife, the phone doesn't ring. There's no business. It just doesn't ring. So the only time he gets bracha is when he's b'shalom. So he's b'shalom with his wife, even when he doesn't want to be b'shalom with his wife, because that's it. It's the only way to work. And it's just it's something. If you look and you watch it, you'll see. You need that connection. It has to be there. And all we can do is really ask ourselves, are we connected? How do we say the brachas? How do we understand what's going on? 4 years ago, I once came home from shul on Shabbos, and I wasn't feeling well, and I started getting dizzy, and I didn't know what it was, and I went to the bathroom, and unfortunately, I started seeing blood, and then they call it tzala. Ended up, I had a kidney stone. Okay, the kidney stone came out. It's a little tiny thing, 3 millimeters. It's a tiny, tiny, tiny little thing. But every time I go to the bathroom now, I'm like petrified. We have a tall guy over here. I'm petrified. Is it going to be blood? What's going on here? Who knows? I wasn't drinking enough. Am I drinking enough today? Am I not drinking enough today? Baruch Hashem, I never had it since now. I should never have it again. But you walk out of the bathroom, you say After Yotzar. When you understand, you thank Hashem that it's good. There's nothing going on. I just saw somebody sent out a thing. I hung it up on my bathroom wall. It's from Yerucham Lubavitch, from the Mir Yeshiva. He said that a person would realize all the intricacies, all the different things, the miracles that happen when a person goes to the bathroom, when taking food, and how it comes into you, and how all the good stuff stays into the body, the bad stuff gets separated, and all the different the blood and how it comes and how it goes, and all the intricacies that happen, and you finish, you go to the bathroom and everything came out okay. If you would realize it, you would jump up and send a telegram, those are in his days, to your mother to say, Mom, everything was good, because it was so good. But you have to think about this. This is what this is what it's all about. Let's understand a little bit, if I can digress for a second, to talk about bracha. Because this bracha that Hashem gives, how does it really work? There's a beautiful part. We all know the story of Bilam in Parshat Balak. When Bilam was going to curse Klal Yisrael, to kill all the Klal Yisrael, Balak hired him to kill all the Klal Yisrael. He was going with his mouth, he was going to curse them, and they were all going to be done. So what happened? He's driving with his donkey, and his donkey goes off the path 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. At the end of the 3rd time, he jumps off, and he says, Lu yesh cherev biyadi. If only I had a sword in my hand, I would kill you. Rashi brings down that all the people standing around him were laughing at him. Because here you're going to kill out a whole nation, Klal Yisrael. With your mouth, you're going to curse them and they're going to, right? And this little donkey, you need a sword for? Well, there, just curse him and drop dead. Finished. Done. So the line of the Torah says, what's Takab Shat? The Rashi doesn't say anything. That's it. What's Takab Shat? You're going to kill the whole Klal Yisrael. Rashi says very so you have to know the Yesod of a bracha, which is what we're talking about over here. The pasuk says in Parshas Re'ei, Anoisi Noisim Lechem Hayom Bracha Klala. It's a bracha im Tishman Li, a mitzvah Hashem Lekecha. You get the bracha if you listen to the mitzvah Hashem. Very simple. That's a klala im Tishman. If you don't listen to the brachas, to Hashem, then you don't get bracha. Then you get klala chas v'shalom. So it's very simple. So we all know that many people go to Rosh Yeshivas and they go to Rebbes and they get brachas. And how does it work? The pasuk says very clearly, if I'm going to listen to the mitzvah Hashem, I'm going to get a bracha. If I don't listen, I'm getting a klala. So there's no games over here. How does it work that the Rosh Yeshiva, the Rebbe, gives you a bracha? He says very similarly aside that it works with Ashbaz. He says when the Rebbe gives a bracha, it's not magic that all of a sudden you're going to get a bracha and everything's going to work out. When the Rebbe gives a bracha, the Rebbe says you should be a Talmid Chacham. Which means, in essence, he's saying that he's giving over for himself, making ashparas for himself. His goodness, stuff that he does, should go on you. You tackle learn and you become a Talmid Chacham. You're going to be doing the mitzvah of Hashem. Mamela, you're going to get the bracha. So it's ashparas that he's giving over from himself to be mashpi on the person to do good. But it doesn't work. It's not magic. If you do good, it works. If you don't do good, then you're not good. Same thing. The message that we just said right now. If you connect, if you're good with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then it works. Without that, it doesn't work, and that's really the secret. He says that works very well by people, because people are mashpiyim. You can be mashpiyah one person to do good or to do bad. He says, but by animals, it doesn't work. You can't be mashpiyah an animal to be good or bad. They don't get that. So when Bilam was coming to curse Klal Yisrael, he was wanted to be mashpiyah from his bad onto Klal Yisrael, that they should do something bad, and Mamela they'll get killed out. And he said in the Taka what happened. When he said Matoyu Eilecha Yaakov, what was he looking at? He was looking at the windows to see if they were if they were, what was the level of tznius? What are people doing the proper thing and looking the right way or wrong? And he was mashpiyah that influence. He was mashpiyah onto Klal Yisrael. That right after that, by Yitzayom Liznei Sumnei Noyav, they ended up going out with the B'nai Moav, and then the Magefa came and Taka killed them out. So that is how a bracha and a klal works. So when we talk about over here, about our brachas and our klalos, it's the same Yesod over here. You connect HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you do the things that Hashem wants to do, you're going to be good, you're going to get good. And Chas v'shalom, the other way around, it doesn't work. I'm just going to finish with a quick word over here in the beginning of the parsha that Yaakov benched Ephraim and Menashe. He said, "B'chol yivarchu Yisrael yisimcha l'kim Ephraim and Menashe." All the Klal Yisrael, when they bench their children Friday night, so whenever they bench their children, they're going to say you should be like Ephraim. And everybody asks, why should it be Ephraim and Menashe? Why not Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov? To go all the way up, the Shvatim at least. Why Ephraim and Menashe? How does that work? And I heard from the Sfas Emes. Sfas Emes says a very, very important Yesod. He said we have a klal in Klal Yisrael that's something called Yeridas Hadoros. Every generation gets a little bit worse than the generation before. The only one time that you see that there was a generation that stayed at the same generation as was before was Ephraim and Menashe. It says in the pasuk, Ephraim and Menashe, Kiruvim, Yishim, and Yuli. They became like one of the Shvatim. So they didn't continue that Yeridas Hadoros to go down. They stayed up there like the Shvatim. That's what the bracha that we give to our children. They shouldn't go down. They should continue to go up. They continue to go up. That's our goal, and that's what we strive for. But if you continue to go up and you do the right things, as we just said, you're going to get the bracha. So we have to ask ourselves, are we connected? If we are connected well and we do the right things, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will bench us. We'll have everything good and much hatzlacha in everything we do.
Okay.